Hey guys, most of you know I'm a teacher, and on my way to school today, I got a work email saying that a couple police officers were asked to hang out on campus with us today because of a new TikTok trend called Slime Out Day. Now, it sounds really stupid. Most of these things do. And all the email said was Slime Out Day is a TikTok trend that promotes betrayal amongst students. Now, that's really vague, but whatever it is, they took it seriously enough to ask two officers to come patrol, make sure the kids don't lash out at each other. Now, this is not abnormal. My last school had officers on campus regularly, but they would also often send emails to staff and teachers warning of new TikTok trends that were harmful to the kids, that the kids would often try to recreate. Now, all the trends that the kids try to recreate, sink their teeth into, are the negative ones that are either going to hurt themselves or someone else in the process. And that's the direct purpose of these trends. I'm not denying that I'm sure there are positive trends on TikTok, but of course the ones that catch fire and get out there are all the bad ones. Beyond the trends, TikTok unintentionally promotes just fighting between students because there's an element of like, I want my win in this fight to be filmed and shown across the internet. It's almost like the stupid sense of glory. Kids will always schedule fights, and then there'll be like 5 students with phones out ready to film it, and it's almost like the sense I got is that to them, if the fight wasn't recorded, it didn't happen, and the kids would make TikTok accounts like for the school fights. So it would be like, Shady Oak school fights, and there'll be the TikTok account, and then it would just be a series of fights, and our schools would have to go in there and like find it and try to get it taken down. Beyond that, of course, the very short form the way these websites function, and mainly TikTok, is really bad for ADHD and promotes ADHD. And as a teacher, it's very hard to teach. I teach pretty basic general music, and it's like pulling teeth because these a lot of the time, if I'm trying to get the kids to stay in their seats, a lot of the times I see them rocking back and forth because they want to get up. Some of them can't control themselves, so they do get up with no purpose or direction, and they didn't ask me or anything. They just wander around, and then they'll just like grab stuff and kind of like they don't know what to do with themselves. They're constantly in this like agonized state where they need to do something because they're so used to like seeing all these different videos. They're like goldfish where like their brain resets every 5 seconds or whatever. It's really sad. Makes it very, very hard to teach. As easy as I'm trying to make this class, I often fail the majority of students because they're constantly talking over me. They're not doing any of the work. If we ever do written work, the worksheets I get back are either like ripped up or just scribbled on. Half the time there's no name. Yeah, I would go out on a limb to say that the majority of students that I've seen have some form of crippling ADHD. It's abundantly clear. And then beyond that, most of the actual content of the stuff they're watching is not of any value. There was one that like a second grader watches that's like, it's telling you ways to get out of like dangerous situations. There's one where like, if you find yourself in a room with the walls closing, you need to like climb up the side and find a bar on the ceiling. Like it was just a bunch of crap. And then there was like one if you get stuck in quicksand, reach out and grab the branch, like and they weren't funny. The animations were like super low quality. You ever see those Pixar things where it like shows you the different layers of animation, like a behind the scenes Pixar thing, and like the last layer looks incredible, but like the first 2 layers look like crap, look like smooth clay. Like that's what these videos look like. So they're not funny. They don't look good. Even if you don't think, my worry with this sort of thing is that the kid will like try to get himself in one of these dangerous situations, and obviously what the video is telling you is not going to work. It's a bunch of crap. But even if you don't think that, even if you don't think the videos themselves are going to be harmful, there's no quality to these. Again, they're not funny. They don't look good. If you're looking for just entertainment, I'd say like SpongeBob has a lot of comedic value. It has even artistic value. It's animated in a fun, unique, creative way. There's a lot more to to take away from SpongeBob than from any of these dumb TikToks I see these kids watching. as a teacher, it's so clear what this sort of content and this style of content where you're just swiping on these short videos is doing to these kids, and it's objectively awful. It's awful. Now, what was really exciting is that a couple months ago now, almost, TikTok was going to be banned, right? It was banned for like half an hour, and then Trump, for whatever reason, it didn't even make sense. He said I think he said, bring it back so people can post the inauguration on TikTok or something. It was stupid. It didn't make any sense. But now it's back, and the bigger reason that I saw that all the mainstream media fighting for TikTok was that they said small businesses would suffer, and I guess a lot of small business owners were like, "Oh, I'd be sunk without TikTok." Now that doesn't make any sense either. If like, I'm sure you have a great business, but honestly, if TikTok getting banned is going to totally sink your business, then you're probably a really bad business owner. Like I was in the same boat. No, I didn't have as much skin in the game, but I do private piano lessons, and I had a series of short form instructional videos on how to play the piano, like just really beginner stuff. And I had those on TikTok, and then I took those off of TikTok and I put them on Instagram and I put them on YouTube, the same videos, because it's like the old proverb, don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's like the most obvious thing. And we all knew this was coming. This was almost like a historic event. So as a business owner, you should have made a video on TikTok saying like, hey, I'm going to move to Instagram, follow me there. Hey, I'm going to move to YouTube, follow me there. Done. Yeah, of course you're going to lose some customers, but the ones who actually care and are buying your product are going to follow you. So there was such a BS argument, and I heard it made widespread. I'm sure you guys remember that. It's just so sad. So now here we are back at square one. Kids are inspirited with the with this trend to, I guess, just harm each other. And so our school had to ask some police officers to come babysit the kids to make sure they don't hurt each other. Like, when you put it like that, it's so obvious. It's so obvious that this thing has got to go. And here it is, and I'm super depressed about it. And it's wrecking them. It's wrecking generations in multiple ways. It seriously is. And if it doesn't piss you off, it should. And if you are a small business owner and you feel like you need TikTok, then develop a better business plan. I don't know what else to say. The last thing I'll say is it also wrecks a lot of individualism. Like, when we were kids, I was like the Star Wars guy who was into movie soundtracks and stuff. One of my friends was, he was really into Dragon Ball Z and like basketball and sports and stuff. And I had another friend who was really into like Linkin Park and bands like that. And then he read manga, whatever. Like, everyone was into their own thing. And then we had a friend who was really into games. He was the one who introduced me to Oblivion. And there was like, everyone had their own character, their own unique interests. And of course, some of those aligned, sometimes they didn't. But now, I think because the internet is just unified and these kids are all seeing the same stuff, they're all into the same, usually pretty dumb stuff. Like, there's a lack of individualism and individual interest, which is also really scary. So TikTok is bad all the way around. I was really excited when it was going to go because it's absolutely what's best for these kids. Absolutely. Like, you can't be a teacher and say otherwise. I don't know any other teacher who thinks TikTok is great. If campuses are having to call officers over it, then that's bad. If we're getting emails warning the staff of new trends, that's bad. If there are abundance of fights that are getting filmed and posted on TikTok, that's bad. If there are kids who are like in a painful state when they're asked to sit in their seat and listen because they're used to scrolling these quick videos all the time, that's really bad. It's got to go, and I'm sad that it hasn't yet. So that's it. Just wanted to give you my perspective. It sucks. It's evil. Let's get rid of it.